And we are currently live. This is
Right.
this is the Tuesday event for the Phoenix RIA. Today we're with Dina Jones. This is the third Tuesday as normal for the Phoenix RIA, and then Luke, as always, is here with his cool Viking sign.
Oh yes.
He,
Don't
Looks like
forget
he's
about
sitting in like a really nice bar in the middle of the day. I'm
yeah.
definitely vibing on the sign.
I,
my.
I just I just need to check the status of the bottle in the back. Is it still empty?
Oh, yep. Still empty. Yeah, I did some drinking this weekend, but it was impressive, so I didn't bring that with me. I need to fill that up. I know. Got to get that filled. Chris, I'm waiting for you to come back in the office for that to be filled up.
Well, next Tuesday I will be in town, so we're gonna try out the Viking uh, home with both of us there. So
Ooh, let's do it.
yeah. So
Let's do it. I like it.
anyway, today we were talking about comping in the current real estate market, right? So just some little stats. Dina from Fidelity was nice enough to share some numbers with me today, and basically,
I love sharing numbers. You know
yeah.
that. And
The
Yeah.
consensus is our inventory is up, right? We're currently about 12,400 actives. That's up from 4,200. If you've been watching us every week, I keep telling you the number. That's over about a 10-week time frame, so it's up like 200%. If you want to know, Phoenix is leading the market in price changes in the United States at 35%. So, sellers are reducing, but maybe they're just reducing because they were a little aggressive on pricing at first, right?
Oh, nobody does that. Come on, Chris. We don't price aggressively in this market right now.
So, and so we're going to get, my Phoenix view. We'll get, Dina's view, and then obviously we got the Northern Arizona view from Luke. But
well,
some,
I'll
some
pick this up first. If I think I can screen share on here, right?
oh, there you go. Yeah,
Okay, so we're looking at some statistics that just came out today from Armless, where
there,
our oh, can you see that? Okay,
yeah. I just added it to the
Nice.
stream. There you go.
yeah. Average sales price is down slightly from last month, up
Okay.
significantly from last year. Month of supply of inventory is up from last year, up from last month. Our average days on market is staying pretty steady at 28. Active listings, as you can see, is up significantly at
Right.
10,508. And pending contracts at 6154. And then our monthly sales are down slightly from last month, up from last year.
Okay. Okay. I like
So
it.
those are numbers ending. Those are month end for May, right? So they just
Yes,
came
that's for
out.
the
So
month. Yep,
yeah, and
absolutely.
so obviously, people don't realize when markets change how fast they change. Obviously, we saw Bitcoin last week change. Right, it was at 30 and it went to 20.
I
So
think it got down to 17, 18.
yeah,
And they're saying it's going to hit like 10.
yeah. So I mean,
Woo.
it transitions and the scarce mindset hits in, and stocks are down, tech stocks are down, Bitcoin's down. So obviously people are going to get scared in this current market. But so what I'm doing for my comping is, if I'm going out there to acquire a house, some tips and tricks is, the guy that got in the bidding war and wanted the house, and it's $50,000 over what any other normal comp you would see. And when
Mhm.
I comp, I see him, just scratch that one out. It's gone. It's
Yep.
sorry, guys. I'm sorry that you paid that much. Um,
You
you're
just
not.
lost $50,000.
Yeah, you just lost 50 grand. Sorry. Oops. As far as I would say, everybody got a huge increase in value, call it, in the last 3 years, 4 years especially. So if they've owned their home 4 years, uh, not a whole lot of people went out and, like, this isn't 2007 when they got 105% of value on a second. So they have equity. So if they need to sell, they have the ability to sell because they have equity. So they can drop that 10%. If it's worth 400, they can drop to 360 or 370. They have the equity to do that. So I would, with inventory rising, and I think mortgage applications are down 40%, I think you're going to see. I kind of saw this. I'm not gonna take credit for it, but it was kind of a good plug for good agents, right? It said you might need a good agent because instead of having a 1 to 4 week market time, you could have a 1 to 4 month market time.
Yeah.
So, there's a good plug to like having the agent that's new and only been in the business a year, having, going out and finding that agent because,
Absolutely.
Back to the last stat, I would expect a couple things when you're doing your acquisition. I would take 10% off. So if let's just use a round number. You think it's 500, I would have your exit at 450.
Okay.
And
so you're doing 10% off is what you're doing.
I'm going 10% off, and I'm going to take my rehab number and I'm going to bump it a little bit. And and I just talked to Luke about this. Luke puts out a great product, right? If you've seen any of his Facebook or you follow him on Instagram, he just put out that house with the tongue and groove this morning and all that. Have your acquisition manager stop by the house and actually look at the house and look at the active you're competing against. Actives are going to be important again because that's who you're selling against. The people that want to move in that subdivision, if you have 3 actives, have them go look at the 3 actives because a remodeled house in pictures is way different than a remodeled house. I can walk through a remodel in 30 seconds and go tell you if this guy is just started last week or if he works for Luke, right? So
For sure. Chris, I got a question for you that I've been getting asked a lot of, and I would like to know your opinion on it. I've had a lot of people saying, okay, I've got some equity in my properties. Would you recommend selling rentals right now?
Would I recommend selling rentals?
Yeah, if you exactly what you're saying, if you've got, say, 20% equity in your average rental, maybe some people have 30, maybe some have 40. But would you say sell some rentals off, hold on to that cash, and wait?
Well, the problem with that is if you sell the rental, you're gonna have a tax liability, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're never gonna be able to rebuy your rental. So I would just say, no. Now, if you need cash, that's a different story.
I think you should call 1-800, call 1-877, call cash now. What's that commercial?
I haven't seen that commercial, but yeah, I don't. If you need cash, that you don't need to sell your rentals because your rentals, you're never gonna. In my lifetime anyway, I don't think even Luke's a young guy. I don't think in any of our lifetimes are we seeing 2.5% and 3% mortgages again.
No, that was insane.
Those are like, those are items that we're never going to get rid of. I'm never going to sell anything I have that has a 2.5% or 3% mortgage on it ever. It's going to cash flow for me, my kids, and my kids' kids, right?
Exactly. For sure. No doubt about it.
Well, it's so interesting that you bring that up. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, hey, I think I'm just going to get out of the stock market. I'm like, okay, so your portfolio is probably in half right now and it's the time to sell it. Like, that makes no sense. I think this is the market you actually can buy some stuff for less than you could normally purchase it for.
Yeah, for sure.
And do good if you're like looking at long-term gains.
Yeah, that's kind of that fear mentality. But another big thing that has happened is a lot of our hedge funds have pulled back. I wish I knew. I wish Dina could, break out that data for us. She probably can't, but a lot of the hedge funds have pulled back, and that was kind of what was kind of holding up that sub 500 market, right? Now it gives that buyer that hasn't been able to buy in that sub 500 market the ability to buy because
now some options now.
Yeah, it gives them some options. But the 500 and north market, let's just do some simple math. We got a $700,000 house, right? And it was a 3% mortgage. now it's a $700,000 at a 6% mortgage. You know, that payment.
Yeah.
Well, let's just use an ARM on a 5-year ARM. That payment just doubled, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
only going to get approved for like 550 now.
Yeah. So what does that look like? And maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's what I'll do in the comments. I'll just do some simple math on like what the affordability looks like from a 3.25 to a 6.25 mortgage. Obviously, the things that stay the same are the taxes and the insurance. But so the payment didn't quite double, but it went up probably 60 to 70%. So that's gonna cut people out that can afford that home.
Right. No, exactly. Dina, I got a question for you too.
Sure.
What's the typical, if you're just going to have a completely even market in the sense of it's a buyer, not a buyer's market, not a seller's market, just dead even. How many listings is that on average?
Oh gosh,
Because
I know. I think it's like
30,000 or something like that.
It's way high. Chris, you probably know what that is
It's
off the top of your head.
Cromford has it between 28 and 30,000.
Yeah, I definitely think it's around 30.
So for 28 and 30, and then we went from 4,000 to 12,000 in 6 weeks.
About 10 weeks. If we stay on this pace, we're going to be on a 6-year high in inventory within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I don't see anything slowing it down. So.
Okay. So I mean, this is when it comes to comping in how the market is right now. I mean, what I recommend, and again, is even if you get to that point where it is dead even, where you've got 30,000 active listings, if you're flipping right now, in my opinion, you just have to have your product stand out that much more. Because I mean, even when it gets to that point, say the average property is going to sell in the market for, like you said, maybe it goes from what has been, well, obviously months ago it was 1 to 4 days on the market. Say now it's 1 to 4 weeks, and then let's say it gets to the point where it's going to be 1 to 4 months. If your product is still going to be able to blow these other ones out of the water, if your product, if it's going to go head to head against 5 other listings and they're looking at yours and yours is the nicest, I just think that's what you got to do. If it's going to be to spend a little bit extra money to kind of do those things that make yours stand out, that's something you have to do right now.
Yeah, that's why I kind of I think you're going to have to up your rehab budget because you're going to have to you're going to have to do a good job, and then I think you're going to have to take down your 10%, and then it may adjust as inventory increases and increases. It may be 15, it may be 20, and you have to be ready for that. And so your buy prices, like my number on old inventory is 60 cents on the dollar. So if I know it sounds terrible, but if it's a $400,000 house midtown, my new offer is $240, and then on a new house. On a $400,000 house, maybe out in Buckeye or something like Levine, it's 70 cents. So, it might be 280. So,
right, exactly. No, I mean, so what we've done in the sense of kind of adjusting is that, so you said you do about 10% right now. That's kind of what you're going for.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jack. Jack was saying, that what he's seen some people doing, and that he's even kind of looking into a little bit too, is just taking away all of the comps that have sold in the last year. I'm sorry, not last year, in the last 6 months, and going back to 2021. Starting to kind of relook at the houses like, okay, this is what was selling in 2021. This last 6 months has been fake. It's been crazy, So now we're back to a market that's more aligned with the 2021. I think that's where you could go. Personally, what we do, and again, keep in mind this is when we flip a lot more. So I mean, if you're wholesaling, it's going to be a little bit different. But just know that looking at from a flipper's perspective, if you're going to send stuff to Chris or send stuff to myself where you're like, hey, will you take a look at this? Is this something you'd be interested in buying? Just know that these are how we're going to run the numbers now. Is that we're looking at it like I pull up all the comps now. Like you said, Chris, if there's any just ridiculous outliers, no, I'm taking it out. I'm not even going to look at it. But I'm going to look at, the top of the market minus that one property. So say, like you said, say you've got a bunch of houses sitting around 5, but you had a 550. That was, just crazy. Take that 550 out. I'm going to look at all these ones that are 5. I'm going to look at the renovation that was done to them. If that renovation on those 500 houses is all, if it's all pretty like mid-level, Home Depot cabinets and just, clean, but they're not like super updated. How I'm now running my comps and how I'm now running my numbers is I'm saying if those houses are out of 500, my house fully renovated, absolutely gorgeous, that's going to blow these ones all out of the water, I'm going to look at that as a 500 house. So I'm not going over that number, but I'm just saying, okay, my house is that much better than all of these ones, but I'm going to run it nice and safe, and I'm going to say it's going to align with these ones that are just clean, but they're not renovated. They're just, like I said, maybe just older cabinets, maybe they've got older flooring, maybe they're not painted, but they're very clean though. That's how I'm starting to run my comps for all of our stuff.
And are you guys using any software to do that, or is it all just literally manual?
It's unfortunately it's me sitting by the computer and taking a look at everything and seeing if it makes sense. But again, it's one of those things where you have, when the market starts to die like this, you buy that many less properties. So I mean, you have more time. I hate to say it, it's kind of a little bit different vibe. It's a little bit stranger vibe in our office now because before the last few months it was less, go nonstop. You're buying so many properties. Where now everyone's being a lot more careful, everyone's being a lot more safe, and so now I'm gonna really look at every single property in a lot more detail now because you don't want to get stuck with something that you think that you can't get rid of, that you can't sell, that you're gonna lose money on. So again, when it just comes down to being a lot more safe, I'm gonna actually take the time. I'm gonna take the extra effort to really spend time to make sure that I know exactly what this property is gonna get. That's
We have
what
a
that's what I'm
question in
running.
there for you. I think it says we had a question for you, Chris.
Yeah, I showed it. It was so it says, Chris, when you're talking 50 cents on the dollar, you're talking $1 ARV. Yeah. So when I'm saying 60 cents on the dollar, yeah, if it's worth 100,000, I'm paying 60. If it's 1990 and newer, if it's 100,000, I'm paying 70.
Right.
So with the funds falling back, I don't think they're going to stay out of this game forever. I just think they all just want to see where stuff settles out because I think they got the cash. The whole thing, cash is king, right? So
Yep.
cash. I mean, Roofstock being one of the biggest buyers just did a raise. A bunch of other funds are out there as well. A new one had just started, and so I mean they'd raised the money, so I don't think they're gonna. They've also paused, but I mean they have the money. I just think it's going to be let it settle out for 90 days, and then you'll see them come back in. But that only helps those houses, south of 500,000. It doesn't help those sellers at 600, 700, 800, where
Yeah.
and we're going to see the Fed already says that there's another 5, 6, 7% increase or more increases coming. So, interest rates are just going to keep coming. Obviously, ARMs are going to come back into, it's kind of.
We're hearing a lot of talk about ARMs.
Yeah, so ARMs are going to come back in just because, ARMs are like a 5-year program or, 5-year, 7-year ARM.
Right.
So there's someone kind of make this thing. You marry the house, you date the rate.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Right. That's great.
So you might do an ARM just because you're going to date that rate, but then as things correct and as inflation corrects, and then you'll see people start. Interest rates will start coming back down, and then it starts the big refi boom again, right? So
Yep.
you're married to the house, and you're going to just date the rate.
Where do you, in your opinion, where do you see the biggest hit coming in sense of price points for homes with the rates going up?
Obviously, it's I think it's that middle tier that kind of gets hit the hardest. Obviously, the guys that go to those high end homes, a lot of those guys just write checks for those high end homes.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right. I agree with you.
But obviously on those high end, inventory is spiked probably heaviest there. So they're gonna have cash. They're going to have their choice of the houses on the market, and they're going to get picky, right? So,
Yep.
And then, that middle tier is where the affordability comes into play. So
are you thinking between like 4 and like 7?
I think, I think 5 and $1 million is probably, where you're going to see some, because I think when you see the hedge funds come back in, they're going to be buying at that, 350, 400. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I mean, that's why I don't think we're ever going to have to, not ever, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about much with those properties that are going to be under that 350, 400. You're always going to have buyers at that price point no matter what. Whether you've got people that are, working in the restaurant industry, if you got people that are in the retail industry, whatever it is, like you're going to be able to afford a house for 350, maybe 400,000. Where exactly like you said, once you do start getting into that 6, 7, 8, you got to start having higher paying job, and if those interest rates are coming up, it's going to start hurting.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think they're stopping there. So, currently June of you listen to our Red Room, like this is number 16. You listen to number 24 or 25. I might say there's a 20% drop in pricing. But I think right now, if you're looking at something, you want to price. You're going to want your exit 10% lower than your comp. Get rid of the big one, and then kind of budget a little bit more for rehab. Go watch Luke's Instagram and make your houses look like his.
That was a fun that rehab. That was a $260,000 rehab.
Well, maybe don't go that great.
Yeah, that was one of the highest ones we've ever done. So that one was. It better look nice for that price, right? I'm hoping so. But yeah.
So what are you guys aren't using like any AVM tools when you're getting nervous about whether or not this is the right house?
Personally, no.
I don't use any AVM tools. I mean, obviously real estate's local. I mean, certain parts of Chandler. What's that part of Gilbert that is got every little house? It's got a front porch. It's right around Gilbert. Agritopia.
Yeah.
That's its own little monster. You can't compare that to other parts of Gilbert, even, right?
Absolutely not.
Houses in that neighborhood pull crazy numbers. So if you guys don't know what Agritopia is, for those of you that are watching, they have basically it's a community where they have a farm, and that everyone gets to go plant like whatever they want in like the farm, but then also they can you get to take from the farm too. It's kind of crazy.
Well, they also use a lot of the gardens in the restaurants that are part of that, that are kind of on property there. So they've got
Joe's Farm Grill.
Joe's Farm Grill, yes.
Yeah.
They've got now Garage East, which is kind of like a co-op of multiple restaurants and things. And the whole neighborhood is designed so that people walk out on their front porch like they do in the Midwest and talk to their neighbors. So they're rear-loaded garages, and Joe Johnson started that community many years ago, and he still zips around on his little moped in there.
That guy's a genius.
So I mean that's so real estate's local, so you can't just say this part of Gilbert's going to do this or this, because there's just different communities, different feels, different pockets, different pockets, and so but yeah, I would just say in general, stuff's going to come down 10% based on what you're seeing, and do a better rehab. And, so let's just say, let's just use round numbers. I like round numbers, right? You had $100,000 exit strategy. Maybe you had, $10,000 in rehab. Maybe you would have offered 7 or 75 back then. Well, now if your exit's 90 and you're going to do a little bit better rehab, I mean, now you're probably at like a 60. So that's down to that 60 cents on the dollar. And that's just, those numbers are just kind of based on a 10 to 12% ROI. I just use, round numbers so everybody could keep track of it.
So Chris, how is this affecting, so people that are out there that are, looking to flip or looking to do some investing, how is this affecting the 10% drop you're talking about your lending?
No, so I mean, I'm definitely tightening everything. I was always kind of 15% down. I'm 15, maybe probably closer to 20% down. That's just, as stuff moves backwards, that affects my LTV and a loan, and my job is to protect my underlying investor. So, so now if it, I might say, you brought me a house that's worth 100. I think it's worth 90. So I'm going to do, 20% down on your purchase price based on a 90% ARV. So, I just don't. There's no sense in. I'd rather just not lend money than take houses back. That's not. That's my goal.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And then you're still doing rehab though for people.
Yeah. We're doing a little bit of rehab loans, but once again, I was probably at 70 cents on the dollar, and I probably will move back to 60 or 50 cents on the dollar. Just I don't want. Last thing I want is partially finished homes too, right? Someone started their project and got halfway through it, and then they're out. Because then I got to jump in the middle. I got to take over permits. I got to do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and that's it. Management intensive, and for my little 2% cushion that I make on my hard money loans, it's not something I want to do. So but there's other hard money lenders, just like volume is cut way down for loan officers. Volume's going to cut down for real estate agents. Volume's going to come down for the wholesaler and the hard money lender. I was, as a June 1, we'd sold 277 homes, or bought and sold 277 homes in 5 months. So that's a 55 home average. That's not bad. If, I'm adjusting, hey, if I can go back to my 30 wholesales a month or 25 wholesales a month for, the rest of 2022, I'm happy. It's just, I told my acquisition guys, hey, if we can go back to doing one home a day, I know we all got, it was all amazing. We
got spoiled. Everyone got spoiled.
Yeah. But
who would have thought COVID happens and we get spoiled?
Yeah, no kidding. COVID happens and people are selling their houses for more than you would have thought. Chris is getting more houses, doing more lending than ever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was great. But now let's just go do go back to doing our 25 to 30 wholesales, and I'm happy. So
yeah, for sure. No, absolutely.
That's a good question that we've got in the comments. Are we seeing delay in contractors?
Voila, look at that.
Yeah.
I found a new toy.
I love the toy. It's funny, the garage door thing. I called my garage door guy the other night at an event. Somebody backed their car into their garage and couldn't get it out, and he was definitely out quite a ways, where normally he'd be over the next day.
He's got to reach out. We've got a garage door guy that's been knocking garage doors up for us extremely fast. As long as it's not like some custom garage door.
Yeah, if it's a custom garage door, it's probably out a while. But I think you're going to see, supply chain issues. Look at the lumber pricing. Lumber pricing is coming way down. So other price
adjusting back where it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, no, with new home sales down, I think it's 19%, something like that. I don't know the exact number. I saw 19. I also saw 22, so I don't know which one it is. But with new home sales coming back down, rehabbers are gonna flip less because inventories. Yeah. So all the stuff that goes with that you put in a home, there's gonna be less buyers for it. So.
Yep. So I think with that being said too, is I think that, when you have that many less people flipping, I think you're going to have that many less, projects for the people that are actually doing the work, for the contractors. So I personally just believe that we're going to start having more competitive rates again from contractors. They're not going to be able to say, hey, you know what, I've got 5 other houses that I can choose from if I want to renovate. They're going to have to kind of start saying, you know what, I'm not getting a whole lot of properties sent my way. And so, you know what, yeah, I will take this one. And I think that as a flipper, I think that you're going to have a little bit more, you're going to hold the power a little bit more again in the sense of kind of determining what your prices are going to be with the contractor.
And you were right, Chris, on the statistic regarding new homes. So they fell by 16% in April.
That was close.
But prices are up, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Of new builds.
Yeah, but yep. That all just
20% year over year.
Yeah, that adjusts just like everything. So,
right. Heck yeah.
Well, that's we're at 29 minutes and 47 seconds. If anybody has any questions, we're going to open up to questions.
Yeah,
And
and I guess I would just throw it out there too. Like there is software available for comping houses too. On if you guys are nervous about that and you'd like a recommendation or a referral, we definitely have access to some software that can help with that. I do see that coming back. People want um, to be more sure of their number going into
I don't
purchasing.
think I would use. I don't know what your opinion is, Luke. Would you use a software, or would you just use your old? I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna trust my comping skills against a software.
Yeah, I will too. I do the same. No doubt about it. We do use a software in the sense of kind of determining rehab budget and not only that, but kind of it takes into account closing costs, holding costs, all that kind of stuff. So that's called Rehab Valuator. So rehabvaluator.com if you guys are looking for something that's a huge software that we use daily. I mean, I'm plugging numbers into that thing probably 15 times a day. So that's going to be if you're a flipper, if you're a wholesaler, if you're trying to look at where the numbers are going to make sense, it makes life really easy. You just create an account on there. I think it's like $50 for the year, so it's really not too bad at all. But again, it allows you to put in ARV, it allows you to put in rehab budget, it allows you to put in closing costs, realtor fees, holding costs, everything, and then it pops out the number for you, where it can say, hey, this is the price that you need to buy this house at. And it'll even say, hey, depending on how much you want to make, if you want to make a $10,000 wholesale fee, if you want to make a $100,000 wholesale fee, it'll say, boom, that's the number that you need to be able to offer, and that's the number that is going to make sense for your, for your investor to buy it at. So it'll say, hey, does your investor want to make 8% of the money? Do they want to make 10%? Do they want to make 12%? So we run everything as a 10%. That's here at Viking with Jake and I, we want 10% on our money when we're flipping something. If we're doing a 600 on the sale price, if we're doing a $600,000 home, we want to make at least 60 grand on it. So you can kind of just let, if you're a wholesaler, you might want to ask your flippers, hey, what is that price that you're looking for? And we'll be able to get those numbers all set up for you.
And you can even plug in the length of time in that software, right?
Oh,
For
yeah.
how long you're projecting the rehab to take, and it'll backfill and adjust the numbers according to construction time.
That one doesn't, unfortunately. That one we just do like a basically 10%. So if our purchase price is 400, then we're going to say 4,000 a month, and then however many months. So if we're going to say we're going to hold it for 4 months, then we're going to add 16,000 in holding costs.
Got it.
Dina, someone wanted to recommend your software.
Yes, I will. I will DM you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping on, and that's there's our comping tips for March. For June. That doesn't mean they won't be different for.
Right. All we can do is just take the information that we have and decide what to do from that point.
Yeah. So, but
it's more important than ever too that like people are doing the activities to generate, future business. So I think these conversations are super, super important.
For sure. And hopefully it keeps you from buying anything that you shouldn't be buying.
Yeah, what you do is here's the tip of the week. You go to the agent that's actually working out there and hustling the open house, and when she leaves, you steal her iPad that had all the buyers logged in.
Perfect. There we go. That's all you got to do.
My tip of the week is back to basics, right? Yeah. Look closely at your P&L. Do the activities that are going to be generating more opportunities every single day, because that is the stuff you can control in any market. And the one that we're in, it's a little kind of weird right now. I think this is where a lot of money can still be made.
I think so too. I think there's a lot of scared people out there right now, which there should be. Don't get me wrong, there should be, but I think that it's going to be a high risk, high reward at this moment right now, which is scary. But you know what? Got to risk it for the biscuit.
Can't win if you don't play.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on as always.
Of course. Thank you guys.
Have an awesome
day. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Of course, absolutely.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.